Hi. Okay, friends, hello. It's that time. It's admin hour time. How are you? I'm so glad you're here. If you are new, please swipe up on iOS. Hi, Adam. Swipe left. Swipe up on Android. Swipe left to right on iOS. Click my name. Follow me, share this broadcast out on Twitter so that as many Salesforcers as possible can find us. I'm so glad you're here. We're going to talk about Salesforce Reports today. And we have many experts with us, including Adam and others. And so I have some housekeeping stuff for you. Thank you so much for inviting your followers. And I really, really appreciate you. I just want to let you know that there you are. Hi. We have been featured on the Button Click Admin podcast. Did you know that? It's true. So I'm hoping we're going to have a lot more people coming our way. And that means that there are really opportunities for leadership for you all to continue to make Admin Hour happen. So please get in touch with me. I'm at Missy Longshore. Hi, Carrie. At Missy Longshore on Twitter and on Periscope. You can message me, you can tweet me, you can email me, and I would love to have your leadership involved to make this happen. And I really appreciate everyone who has been sending me suggestions of resources that we're going to be using today and other suggestions, but your continued support will really help get the word out there to more people. And really the goal of Admin Hour is that this is a free public venue that's open to everyone as another way to learn about Salesforce, because not everyone is in the success community, even though I wish they were. Not everyone is in the Power of Us hub, which they should be if they're a nonprofit. So we just want ways to spread the word. So again, if you're new to Periscope, you can tap the screen to give hearts. That helps let me know that you can hear me okay, that the screen isn't frozen and all that stuff. And you can swipe left to right on iOS. You can swipe up on Android, and you can share out the broadcast on Twitter. That will help to make sure that as many people as possible find this portion of the broadcast, because obviously it's a lot easier. I can talk a lot faster than I can type. So Admin Hour is Twitter based and Periscope based, just to share as much information about Salesforce as possible. Again, our topic today is reports, and really interaction is the name of the game. So if you're shy, that's okay. You can just type and give hearts and stuff like that, but it really does help out if you interact and share resources. This is really the place for you to put up your blog, to put up suggestions, to meet other members of the Salesforce community. So I really encourage you to follow each other. If you see someone posting on Twitter, just a few tips about that are to use the hashtag Admin Hour, because I have my Hootsuite here filtered so that I'm only going to see posts that use the hashtag Admin Hour, and I really want to include you in the conversation. And then also there's going to be a series of questions, and so if you can use the format Q1A1, so like the first question is going to pop up just in a second, and then you can reply A1 if that makes sense. And if you want to reply to the question, just remember to put a period in front of at Missy Longshore so that everyone can see it. Does that make sense? Because if you just reply to Missy Longshore, then only people who follow me and follow you will be able to see it. Does that make sense? I didn't really understand that whole process for a while. So just make sure you put a period in front of at Missy Longshore. Thank you for the hearts. I really appreciate you. I also want to announce our future dates. And again, call for leaders. There are many ways you can get involved. It means that you can share resources with me. You can be on Periscope, which means that we would pass the cast to you. So a few minutes into the broadcast, we can say, okay, now we're all going to go over to Carrie's Periscope, and Carrie's going to talk to us for the next 10 minutes or however long you feel comfortable about whatever topic. And I think that would be a really great way to build up your, visibility in the Salesforce community, increase the diversity so that it's more than just me on this broadcast, and, encourage that. So the next two topics and dates are June 2nd. We're going to be talking about the Summer 16 release. And I know some of you out there, I might be looking at you, Adam, are really well-versed on that. And then on June 16th, we're going to be talking about Process Builder for beginners. Again, the target audience of this is really beginner to intermediate Salesforce admins, which could be anyone, or just if you want to learn Salesforce or something like that, both at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So it's the first and third Thursday of June, 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. So please join us. Okay, so now's the time where you participate by opening up your Salesforce instance, or a document, and excellent, Adam, excellent. Please send that to me again, and we will make sure that we have that. And I would love to feature you prominently. So Adam, I hope you get ready to be on Periscope. So let's talk about that. So open your Salesforce instance or a document to take notes and really make a commitment during this hour today that you are going to make some changes in your actual Salesforce instance. So the differences about admin hour versus a webinar or something like that is that you make a tangible change in your Salesforce instance and the interactivity that we have going on. So again, we have, so we have our first question. So welcome, remember to invite people. Again, you can invite people to share in the Periscope by swiping and sharing it out on Twitter. So thank you for doing that. And you want to go ahead and introduce yourself. So let me know your name, your location, and your favorite song in the summer. You may know that a new Justin Timberlake video came out yesterday. It involves dancing, and people are claiming it is going to be the song in the summer, and I have to say, I agree with them. I'm also a big fan of Will Smith's Summertime. So again, my name is Missy. I'm with Longshore Consulting. I live in the San Francisco Bay Area. I love doing admin hour just for fun, even though it's a fair amount of work, and I love getting to know all of you in this kind of different format, because I didn't really see a whole lot going on Twitter or Periscope in a structured way for Salesforce. So let me know what your interests and backgrounds are. And thank you for all the retweets. Samir, I'm so glad that you're joining us today. If you're not following Salesforce Samir, he is a reports expert. So he has a really excellent presentation we're going to be taking a look at today on our resources. And who else is here? I know, I believe, Atul, you're caught in a client meeting, but you're still on the on Twitter, which is awesome. And so if you are not able to be on Twitter and Periscope at the same time, you can still introduce yourself in the Periscope chat, and I will just let people know who you are. But I would love to hear more about you, where you are from, and pictures are encouraged. GIFs as well are also really fun. So I love to hear that as well. And I'm just checking because I think I just sent the second question, but I could be wrong. Scheduling all these things is a little challenging, I have to say. It's a little overwhelming. Okay, so I also just want to remind you of our website. It's longshoreconsulting.com/admin-hour. Mike Gerholt reminded me when I went in to record the Button Click Admin podcast last week that not everyone can access the Trello board. So I created a website, a new Google Doc. Hi, Sajayan from Chicago, new to Salesforce. Awesome. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. If you are new to Salesforce, using Trailhead is an excellent way to get started and get a developer org in order to in order to get access to free data that you can get hands-on. So I would love it if Carrie or Adam or Samir or someone else who's in the chat can help point you in that direction, because that is a really great way. So I would love to know if you're already active on Salesforce Trailhead, if you already have a developer org that you're comfortable going in and earning Trailhead badges and stuff like that. That would be really great to know, because I want to make sure that you're comfortable. And okay, awesome. So you're working on that. Have you earned your reports and dashboards badge yet? Who has earned their reports and dashboards badge on Trailhead? I have. It's super fun. And I highly recommend it as a really great way to get started with reports and dashboards, but it's not, okay, good. Carrie has. Awesome. Great work, Carrie. Okay, so hopefully you saw our second question. I'm still looking for some introductions on Twitter, so make sure you are following the hashtag admin hour, or just type your introduction here. Again, your name, location, favorite song of the summer, and what's your best beginner Salesforce reports tip? I think I already shared mine, which is, welcome back, Adam. Your best beginner reports tip. I think using Salesforce Trailhead and using that is an excellent way to start out. So what else are your beginner Salesforce reports tips? I'm really curious, and I would love to hear from you. So let me know. I have another one, which is the most common error that users come with. Hi, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. Please tell me your name again. Is it Ryder, or is it Riley or Ryder? Can you please remind me? Okay, of course, I just want to point out I have a coaster sitting right here, and I put my water not on the coaster, and it totally is Nancy. Okay, great. Welcome, Nancy. I'm so glad you're here. Nancy, if you can tell us, do you already have a Salesforce instance? Are you active on Trailhead? Kind of where are you at? And have you, started reports and dashboards or that sort of thing? In case you're wondering why I'm tilting the camera like that, it's because, okay, great. Logging into Trailhead is really the best way to get started. You can just Google the word Trailhead, and it's the first native result that comes up. It's also, developer.salesforce.com or something like that, but I just Google the word Trailhead, honestly, every time. And okay, awesome. So you already started on that. Perfect. So we would love to share with you some beginner, reports tips today, because it's a really great way to get started. Nancy, I'd love to know if you completed the reports and dashboards badge on Trailhead. Okay, great. Trailhead.salesforce.com. Thank you, Adam. I'm so glad you're here. If you are relatively new, Adam is a great person to follow. Adam, I would love it if you would tweet. Excellent. You're working on it now. That's fantastic. Adam, I want to make sure that you put a tweet out with either a tip or just something with your coming from you with the hashtag admin hour, so that people can follow you. Excellent. Okay, great. Oh, great. Trailhead.com works. That's fantastic. Okay, great. Thank you this is why we get on here and we share these tips. That's fantastic. Okay, we have Drew is here. Let me see. Do they all have the hashtag admin hour, Carrie? And Nancy, don't worry, you are doing a fantastic job. You are so welcome. Just make sure that you include the hashtag admin hour. That's the thing. Even if it's a reply, not the reply. Okay. So then because I'm seeing them like, let me go ahead and add an app mentions. Oh, I can't do that. So yeah, again, if it doesn't have the hashtag admin hour, I don't see it. So that's what I want to be clear about. So I can try and delete a stream so that I can see them. But again, yes, every single tweet that you send has to have the hashtag admin hour, or I will not see it. So I can try and add one. Okay. So Drew is here from Terre Haute, Rose Holman Institute of Technology, rocking the old school. Don Henley's Boys of Summer. Nice, Drew. I like that. I like that. So Carrie's tip is that she suggests getting in Salesforce and playing around a bit and then head over to Trailhead and see how much you know. And Carrie mentioned that there is a Trailhead address, which is awesome. There's a Trailhead Twitter handle, which is fantastic. So next is, so Carrie also said report resources. Yep, so you might want to send that out again with the hashtag admin hour, Carrie. That would be awesome. And Adam, I encourage you to tweet out as well so that you can get mentioned. Okay, so again, our current questions are introduce yourself. Oh, great. Here's Samir. Samir, Allentown, Pennsylvania. Summer of 69 by Brian Adams. Good one. Samir, I like it. Can't be on too long. You'll answer questions later this evening. That's great. Thank you so much, Samir. Samir, we are going to refer people to your incredible resources, which is actually in the tweet that came just after you from me, that today's report resources are on our website and on the Google Doc. So I really want to make sure that everybody opens that up, and we will go to that, as well as our next question. What is the most underused Salesforce Reports feature? I would love to hear your thoughts on that. Hey, Carrie has family in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Look at that. So I love it. Samir, I don't know if you are, ooh, wow. Okay, Samir says, mother of all resources, great to get started, developer.salesforce.com/docs, and then there's an atlas, so I'm going to open that up in a second. Adam says, cross filters are a great way to show related records on an object for a specific report, i.e. accounts with or without contacts. Okay, so Adam, I have a question for you, which is how did you learn when to use a cross filter? Oh yes, okay. So so Samir pointed us to the Reports and Dashboard Workbook, which is an excellent resource. So that's fantastic. Thank you for that. And so that's fantastic. Hi, Drew. Welcome back. So how do you know when to use, how did you learn when to use a cross filter versus like a joined report? If you want to see all accounts with contacts or all accounts without contacts. Hi, Zakia. How are you? Welcome. Versus just, I want to see all contacts. Okay, so all accounts, with contacts, all accounts without contacts, that would be a cross filter. I guess I'm a little confused as to why I wouldn't use a custom report type for that, but I guess it's because it's easier to do that with a cross filter. So thank you for sharing, Zakia. I appreciate you. Thank you for those lovely peach hearts. They're wonderful. Yeah, okay. So cross filters are really nice, and they're at the, so basically, as Carrie was saying, I would encourage you to explore everything that's in the top section of your report, both when you're in the customize and when you're not in the customize portion, and what it allows you to do. But Adam, I think that's a great example, is to use cross filters and begin to experiment with those. So accounts with contacts and accounts, you know, without contacts. I would love to get a use case for that. So when would you need to see accounts without contacts? Like, are you doing some sort of cleanup? You know, I think that's also what helps me to try and understand what is a scenario in which you're needing to run that. So that's really helpful. So Samir has maybe companies you want to sell to, but don't you don't know anyone at. That's a fantastic example. Thank you so much, Adam. So yeah, in a nonprofit instance, it might be where I'm actually working with a nonprofit now where they're building a network of individuals across the country that are reproductive rights organizations, but really their contacts are with individuals. But a lot of times they'll do brainstorming and they'll know this organization in Alabama, but they don't know anyone at in Alabama, at that organization in Alabama. So I think that's a fantastic use of a cross filter. Thank you so much, Adam. I really appreciate that. So Samir just said the most underused Salesforce, I almost said San Francisco because I live in the San Francisco Bay Area. Full disclosure, most underused Salesforce reporting feature, checking the dashboard component options to make charts hoverable and clickable. Samir, that is so true. And the dashboard component options, now you're putting me on the spot, the dashboard component options to make the charts hoverable and clickable. I'm trying to remember if there's a way you can universally set that, or if you have to go in each time you set up a chart and make it hoverable and clickable. So in other words, Carrie and Adam, I bet you know the answer to this, or anyone, feel free to jump in, but so what you want to do is you want to have a pie chart, right? And you want to be able to hover and see, the details before you have to click into it to drill down. Do you have to enable that to be hoverable, and clickable every single time you set up, a chart, which then goes through to the dashboard? Or if I set it up once on a chart, will that then be the default from then on? Does that make sense? Or is there a way in setup to set that up universally? Does that make sense? I know there's a little bit of a delay. So I love what Stacy just said. Just get in and start playing with reports to learn the capabilities. So that's fantastic. So that's admin hour. I'm going to say yes. Carrie, I think you might still be just replying to me. You can link a dashboard to its default chart on the report. Yes, I do love linking a dashboard to its default chart on the report. I think that's fantastic. But again, I'm wondering about the Samir option. So I'm just going to reply back and say, great tip. Is there a way to turn these options on universally, or do I need to do this each time? Hashtag admin hour. I know it's pretty exciting for you to watch me type, but I like to make it as interactive as possible. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, so I just want to back up for a second and make sure everyone got the Google Doc that we're working from today. And Samir said most often use case, cross filters when you want to see which accounts do not have opportunities. Oh, great. Okay, awesome. So that's a really great use case as well. So while we have Samir here, I just want to go no. So Carrie, are you saying no to the question of, is there a way to set it up universally? I think you're saying no. Yeah. So Samir, Adam, you like Samir's use case. Where do you get the Google Doc or the slides? You just have to, oh, sorry. I think there was a comment that I missed about a spreadsheet. No worries. I'm doing my best. Okay. Yes. Okay. Great. So to get the resources for today, Nancy, if that was your question, just go back in the Twitter conversation, hashtag admin hour for a little bit. Or you can go to our website and look at the Trello board. It's longshoreconsulting.com, and then just click on the admin hour tab. So yeah. Oh, I saw Samir's sad face that we're not able to set up the clickable and hoverable universally. Well, you know what we can do when we find something we don't like in Salesforce, right? We can do an idea on the idea exchange. Okay, so Samir, and then we'll move on to Carrie and Adam a little bit, is that, oh, he presented this with Salesforce Amy. Salesforce Amy is also a huge supporter of Admin Hour, so they are both fantastic. So make sure you give them a follow. Salesforce Samir, aka Samir, has been has 5 certifications and has been working at analytics is one of his major areas of expertise, and he really recommends setting up the role hierarchy correctly so that you can use my team's option on reports and so that you can use dynamic dashboards because Salesforce only allows for 10 dynamic dashboards, and it minimizes creating dozens or hundreds of customized reports and dashboards to satisfy business needs. So I'm curious, do you have the role hierarchy set up correctly in your organization, and do you take advantage of that in your reporting? I'm just curious. Carrie and Adam, I know you're with fairly large organizations. This is a problem that I see at most nonprofits. They don't have the role hierarchy set up correctly, and so that can really, really be a challenge. And that actually is a good, response to, I think, a good response to the next question, which is what gotchas should we be aware of? Well, sorry. That would be a good response to what gotchas should be aware of in general. But the next question is, what gotchas should we be aware of when adding bucket and report formula fields to reports? So I'd love to hear about that. And again, Samir just did confirm that you must check the boxes in the dashboard widget to make charts hoverable and clickable every time. You don't have a role hierarchy set up either, but we were working on a better structure for access to reports. Yep, so you definitely want to consider access to reports. Okay, so Adam is saying be aware of limitations on bucket fields and yep, okay. So I'm curious how often people use bucket fields. I personally don't use them a lot, but some of my newer, beginner and intermediate people that I work with really love them. They did not exist when I started learning Salesforce, and so I really want to understand like the best use cases and stuff like that. And then report formula fields, I want to my understanding of when you would use a report formula field is when you just don't want to have another custom field on an object, which doesn't really make sense to me because a lot of times what I'll do is I'll create a custom field on an object and then hide it from the page layout, not have it on the page layout so that I can use it in reports. So if anyone has really good use cases, or if that's in one of your blog posts or presentations that you shared with us today, please let me know, because I think these are fairly confusing topics. And again, I've been doing Salesforce a long time, and I know we want this to be more beginner, to intermediate subject matter. But I think it's good for people to be aware that things like bucket fields and report formula fields exist. But again, I think those very specific use cases we were getting at earlier can be really helpful so that people know when to use them and when not to, and what are the gotchas. So I hope that makes sense. So Adam, thank you so much, pointed out some of the limitations on bucket fields. Total bucket fields allowed per report is 5. Total buckets allowed per bucket field is 20. Total values allowed per bucket is 20. And total values allowed per bucket field is 42 to 45. You can get query is too complex error, and reusing bucket fields in multiple reports. Bucket fields can only be used in the report where they were generated. So that doesn't seem good. To use a bucket field in another report, you'll need to recreate it for, there's a typo. You'll need to recreate it for each additional report, excuse me, or create a separate formula field for the object dependent on the bucket. So that, again, that's why I don't tend to use them or advise, beginner to intermediate Salesforce users to use them. So I would love, to get feedback on that, because I don't know when it's a good idea. Okay, Carrie, I'm gonna check your resource as well. Carrie sent one that says, here's a list of bucket field limits. Okay, that's the same one. Perfect. Okay, Carrie, I think you still need to put the period before at Missy Longshore, or just take out my name, or put, like Adam did, A4 beforehand, because for some reason they're not appearing in the same way in the Twitter feed, and I just want to make sure they're copied and they're captured in the Storify blog afterwards. Does that make sense? So Stacy says buckets are great for dollars amount, can be handy for segmenting pipeline reports into small, medium, and large. Great. I like that. Yep. Okay, great. Let's see. Samir says role hierarchy is important so everyone can visit the same link but see data for what's important only to them. And Samir also says, gotchas with buckets. If you have field labels that are duplicate across objects, you need trial and error to pick the right one. Yeah, so for Stacy, I'm going to put a period in front of my reply to her, and I'm going to say, what tips do you have for staying organized with buckets fields on SFDC reports? #admin_hour. Okay. Great. Okay. Okay, so sorry, Carrie. Yeah, it's so funny. Yours are just not appearing in the same. Okay, formula field limitations. Let's take a look. Okay. Any guesses on formula field limitations? Formula field limits and, you know what? I don't know if these are explicitly for formula fields on reports. They're a little bit, this might be for formula fields on, yeah, I think those are just for standard formula fields. I'm not sure. Hi, Megan, welcome. So that's a question. Buckets, so Samir says, buckets are great for consolidating, great for consolidating industries and verticals when the number of pick list values gets out of hand. Okay, thank you again, Samir. Really appreciate you participating. So Megan, we're talking about the gotchas of bucket fields and formula report fields. I do not recommend either for beginner to intermediate Salesforce administrators, but I'd love to know if you have a different opinion. So the last question was about the gotchas of the two of them. I'd rather just create another field. Okay, yeah, okay, great. Excellent. Thank you so much. Okay, so our next question was, but there are some really great use cases. Okay, great. There are some really good use cases in the thread, so I appreciate that. Question 5 was, how do you keep your reports organized in Salesforce? So would love to hear how people keep their reports organized. Megan, you're so nice. I saw your tweet there. Okay, so how do you keep your reports organized? I'm going to go into the Carrie's Jurassic Reports because I know it's amazing. Okay, so not this one. Sorry, Carrie, I'm trying to find. Okay, I'm going to go into your blog. So Carrie Bryan, who's on with us, has shared a number of amazing reports. And she specifically has an amazing, she has photoshopped her head onto the guy from, I'm forgetting his name, but the guy from the new version of Jurassic World. And she calls it a narrated adventure on how to survive Salesforce Matrix reports and joined reports, which I think is just fantastic. And it says a cautionary by Carrie Bryan, Salesforce administrator at Texas A&M University in Commerce, Texas. And it's a cautionary interlude from a higher ed Salesforce admin, aka Jurassic Reports park ranger, which I fantastically love. And it says that before heading through the gates of Jurassic Reports, you should know that many have attempted this journey and few have survived. Okay, everyone has survived, but I'm trying to be dramatic in order to hold your attention. So it's a really fantastic read that I cannot recommend enough. So please go to our resources and grab this blog and get all of her fantastic resources. And then if you're in the Power of Us Hub, you can access even more of the resources. Oh, great. And Carrie just posted it in Twitter as well. Okay, so I'm opening your slides as well. So thank you so much. So great. Okay, so there's your Ranger stats. I'm sorry, I just love this so much. Okay, so Carrie talks a lot about use cases, which is fantastic. And really building reports according to great in I think that's what you sent me, right? Carrie, if you didn't already send me the audio, then let me know. But I think that's what you sent me, and I think it's on our list of documents for today. So what I love here is that Carrie gets into report types. What I'm curious, Carrie, is, okay, awesome. Carrie, did you get into how you can organize what you do when you have a proliferation of report types? Because that's part of my issue, is that I love report types. I love custom report types, but what do you do when you have like 1,000 of them all of a sudden, right? It's really overwhelming, right? So thank you for the hearts. And just a reminder, if you just joined us, I know a lot of you are on the web. If you're on, excuse me, my name is Missy. I'm with Longshore Consulting. I want to give a special shout out to Adam, Megan, Samir, Carrie, who have all been very helpful in putting together this today, but I want to thank all of you for showing up to expand your knowledge of Salesforce. Please go to our website to get today's resources, and it's also in the Twitter thread as well if you don't have access to the Trello board, and people are also tweeting out amazing resources, and there will be a recap of this as well, but I want to make sure that you are getting your questions answered, so feel free to ask questions here and on Twitter as well. Just use the hashtag admin hour so that you can be seen. I want to make sure that you're following all of the awesome people that are posting questions and chatting. So for example, Adam just popped up in the feed. You can tap on his name and then you can follow him on Periscope, and when you see someone in the Twitter feed, you can follow them as well, because this is how you learn, and really getting involved in the really getting involved in the Salesforce community is how I learned Salesforce. And so it's really the best way, because when I have a real question, I ask. And I ask in the success community, I ask in the Power of Us Hub, which is for nonprofits, which is my sector. I ask on Twitter, I use the hashtag AskForce and all those things. So I just really want to encourage you to get involved and mark down our future dates, which is June 2nd and June 16th. You cannot read that. On Summer the Summer 16 release and process builder for beginners. And I also want to encourage you to get involved in the leadership of Admin Hour by, telling your friends to come and get involved, downloading Periscope so you can be interactive in the conversation, publicizing it, and then being a featured person, which means you can be really active in the Twitter chat, on Periscope, and then you can also be featured on camera, which we can talk more about that. Just get in touch with me. So we were going back to how do you organize your stuff. Stacy Cogswell says, use the description field. It's searchable. All reports used for board meeting found in one search. That's fantastic, Stacy. I really, really love that. So that is fantastic. Adam has folders by team and department, which is fantastic. I love that. And Carrie again says, use the... I like the folders by team and department as well, and using the description field. I don't think I fully knew that it was searchable. The number one thing that I see that's challenging is that people don't use description fields across the board. So that can be really, really challenging. So I would definitely use that. Like we were talking about getting organized, and report types are really, really important. Your use case for custom report types, I would love to hear more about that. So please let me know. And I just want to, oh, nice. Okay. So Megan, Hootsuite is having a little bit of a delay. I apologize for that, but I also am getting notifications coming in. But Megan is saying, if a report hasn't been used in 3 months, then she hides it, or maybe she hides the report type. But what I would recommend is that you do the Clean Your Instance challenge. So if you go to Longshore Consulting and you click on Clean Your 7-day challenge, one of the days I walk you through in a 5-minute video tutorial how to report on reports. If you don't already know how to do that, I think it's super helpful. Just do that. It's free, but only until July 1st. Exception reporting with custom report types, contacts without activities. Okay, so Megan, that's really interesting because earlier we were talking about when to use cross filters and when to use custom report types. So I believe you just said, did you just say contacts without activities? So is that one you cannot do with a cross filter? Because Adam and I were talking earlier about cross filters and how you would want to do that for ease of use because you don't have to set up a custom report type for that. Does that make sense? So just to clarify, in case you're a little bit more of a beginner, because I realize we're using some advanced language, there are many different options when it comes to reports, and it's a little bit of, half dozen of one, 6 of the other, that phrase. You can do the same, you can accomplish the same thing in many different ways. It's the extra fields lookup via lookup that I like. And yes, custom report types, excellent. So Megan makes a really good point. It's a good thing to know, again, as Carrie points out in her excellent presentation, what are you trying to accomplish for your users? And then I like to know, what is the easiest way I can accomplish that? So the fewest clicks to accomplish that. And then I like to know kind of what legacy am I going to leave in my system? So in other words, how cluttered is my system going to get? So one example that Megan just gave us is that there are really certain things that you kind of need to do with a custom report type. And one really exciting feature that came out a few years ago that just blew my mind with custom report types is that you can use a custom report type to connect sort of pretty disjointed objects. And this changed everything for me about Salesforce reporting. So, and I use this a lot when I have custom objects in a Salesforce instance. So let's say you have accounts and contacts, and then, you know, a custom object, and then another custom object that seems like not as related because it's related via lookup to the custom object, right? And that sounds a little complicated, but all it means is that you have a lookup field to get to this custom object. Well, you can build a custom report type that says, you know, accounts with contacts with the custom object. And then when you're in the custom report type and you're selecting the fields, you can select fields from that custom object to that other kind of tangentially related custom object. Does that make sense? I leave custom report types creation to admins only since you need to manually add new fields. Yes, exactly, Megan. It's best done by system administrators only. And this is where the organization, exactly. So we're talking about the legacy of your system. Organization is really important because what I see what winds up happening when people have a lot of Salesforce administrators is they will create the same custom report type over and over again because they don't have a naming convention and they also don't have a good place to put them. So, and Megan, I'm curious if you have any insight on this, or anyone really, how do you solve this problem of putting all your custom report types into like other or, you know, whatever, especially when you're dealing with custom objects. And then when you're trying to create a new, okay, it happens with, reporting outside of Salesforce. So are you saying that's a good thing or it's just a common thing? Policies and procedures. Yep, policies and procedures. So our last couple of questions here are, what is your use case for custom report types and what advice do you have on reports? Governance and structure. Yep, exactly. So important. It's common to have none of those. Yes. And, you know, I don't know if you've ever been to, you know, Dreamforce or, you know, Salesforce presentations or that sort of thing, but a lot of times if you hear the analytics team present, Salesforce will make fun of themselves for having really disorganized reports. So I will just point that out. But excuse me. One thing that I do want to point out in our resources for today is that we have a link to an amazing hands-on training from Dreamforce that is on custom report types. And it's with the person who trained me to be a Salesforce administrator. I took my Salesforce Admin 201 training with her. Her name is Wendy Braid. She's one of the best Salesforce trainers out there. So I really encourage you to watch that. I don't know when they're going to take it down because my experience is usually at some point they start taking down the videos for Dreamforce a couple months before, but if other people don't have that experience, let me know. Or maybe they just make them harder to find. I don't know. So I would definitely look into that. And then we have another link to some more advanced stuff on custom report types as well. Okay, so take the time to organize your custom report type fields, group fields in sets, and remove the prefix. Oh, that's really interesting. So you do rename fields in your custom report types. So again, that's a little bit more advanced, but it's really good to know that you want to think about your field naming, the naming of the custom report type, and you know, I don't think there are a lot of description fields when you're creating custom report types, but again, you want to be incredibly thorough because I know a lot of times when I'm going in to create a custom report types, I'm like, oh, I'm stuck. I just need this one report so that I can, you know, meet the needs of my user. But again, remember, that custom report type is still going to be in the system in 6 months and in 6 years, right? So I remove the contact : account : last modified by : name to be account last modified by. Yep, great. Thank you, Megan. That's fantastic. And if you'd be willing to share some of that on Twitter as well so that I can make sure it gets into the Storify, that would be fantastic. Yep. So more helpful reminders on report types from from Carrie. So she also reminds us that adopting a consistent naming convention is considered a best practice. You can choose from all objects, even those you don't have permission to view. This lets you build report types for a variety of users. Once you save a report type, you can't change the primary object. That has happened to me numerous times. If the primary object on a report type is a custom object and the custom object is deleted, then the report type and any reports created from it are deleted. Good one, Carrie. Excellent. If you remove an object from a report type, all references to that object and its associated objects are removed from reports and dashboards based on that type. Clone a custom report type rather than make edits to the original. Per Salesforce, any changes you make will affect existing reports created from it. Yep. When creating a custom report type, always enter in a description. Yeah, Carrie. Yeah. That's Carrie right there. Make sure you follow her. Doing this will ensure your hashtag awesome admin legacy lives on at your institution. Yep. So Carrie, we're totally on the same page. Yep. Yeah. Whoop, whoop. Yep. Totally exciting. So I'm not going to lie. I get intimidated by matrix reports and by joined reports. So I am curious as to the use cases that people find with them for relatively early, relatively beginner to intermediate users. Just follow the white rabbit. So I would be really curious as to, when you recommend, joined and matrix reports. So I'm just going to type that in here. What use cases do you recommend for matrix and joined reports? Okay, because that is confusing to me personally. I get a lot, I just use summary most of the time. And matrix, I can use them, but they just take me a lot longer to find to just find the right fit for it, if that makes sense. So I would love to hear from you what the best way is. Now I'm seeing the lag in my, okay, there we go. Okay, great. Okay. So I just want to go through our other resources as well. So again, Samir and Carrie's resources are fantastic. The reports and dashboards trail and badge on Trailhead. And then I went ahead and put in a number of resources around like the data-driven decisions workbook, and the Getting Started workbook in the Power of Us Hub, and an article on nonprofit dashboards how-to. The main reason why I put in those resources is that, first of all, I'm flying to New York in the morning and I'm training nonprofit Salesforce administrators on how to do all of this stuff, but is that it starts exactly where Carrie was saying as well. You have to begin at the beginning, right? In terms of what are you trying to accomplish? So one of the main things that I see is that a lot of this comes back to user adoption as well. Like, how are the reports going to get used? And the number one thing that I recommend is that you put a graph or a chart on the report at the top, and then you send out the report on a weekly basis. Ideally, you put it into a dashboard and you send it out. The other thing, because that gets it in front of users, right? If it's in their email, even if they're not in Salesforce every single day, it will get to them, right? And then it should prompt them to update their data. So that's kind of how I use it, as like a reinforcing thing. So I just wanted to put that out there. And yeah, changing the layout to match standard reports. That's excellent, Megan. Thank you. So I just want to put that out there that, you can really get more adoption by making it easy for your users. So all the things that we've been talking about today are asking your users how they need them, but then having them use them and having them automatically be pushed to your users by scheduling report runs are fantastic. So that's, and all you do is just under run reports is, you click that little drop down that says, run reports and schedule it, and you send it out to your users. So I want to let you know that today's broadcast was sponsored by the Clean Your Instance 7-Day Challenge, which is primarily geared towards nonprofits, but anyone can take it. You go to my website, longshoreconsulting.com, and you click on the 7-Day Challenge. This is only going to be free until July 1st, so that's why I wanted to give you a heads up. It does subscribe you to my email list, which is where you can find out about upcoming dates for Admin Hour and other exciting stuff, again, geared primarily towards nonprofits. So if you are not a nonprofit, please make sure you tell your friend. The more subscribers I get, the more realistic it is that I can maintain this. And again, I really want to encourage you to save the date for June 2nd, which is the Summer 16 release. And June 16th, Process Builder for Beginners. It's the first and third Thursday in June at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Tell your friends. Oh, great, Carrie, I'm so glad you signed up. Thank you so much. Tell your friends. And I would love it if you would be interested in leading part of Admin Hour with me. That can be promotion. It can be being on camera, it can be gathering the resources and putting them together in a better Word document. It can be writing the questions. Anything that you're interested in, there's an opportunity. This is totally volunteer. It's just a passion project for anyone who's interested in learning more about Salesforce, getting to know the Salesforce community. I really enjoy getting to know all of you, and I'm so grateful that you have, attended and spent your hour with me. So my last question, as always, is what have you implemented and learned in the past hour? So please let me know what is new information for you. What are you going to take away? What are you going to implement? I'm just going to pop that into Twitter really quickly. Okay, so I think I learned some great organization tips and use cases. So I'm going to say that I learned really great use cases for cross-filter reports. Hi, welcome, Microveldit, for cross-filter reports. Admin Hour. Okay. All right. So I would love to know what else you learned, what you're going to put into practice. We talked about organization. We talked about custom report types. We talked about all the things. So I can't wait to see you again on June 2nd to talk about the Summer 16 release and June 16th to talk about Process Builder for Beginners. Don't forget to go to our website, longshoreconsulting.com/admin hour. I'm so glad that you spent this time with me. Please continue to let me know what you implemented, what changes you made, what you learned. And also, I really want to know what feedback you have. So, on the topic, on times, on the format, different questions that you would like to see asked. So please just let me know, and that would be super, super helpful. So thank you so much. I will see you all again on June 2nd, if not before. And thanks for joining Admin Hour. Take care, everyone. Bye.